really a series as though, like, yes, we had a beginning and an ending. It was just like a way of getting the word out while the conflict was happening, because we had realized, even here in the Arab world, that there was effort in the media to sort of cover up what was happening, you know, except for a few channels that were covering it. And all over the world, no one had known. I speak to friends of mine that were in America, it wasn't even on CNN, BBC, nothing. So we're like, you know what, everyone get out there. We sent emails to all of our subscribers, you know, make your videos, and everyone started making videos. We made our videos, and it was just, it's not really a series someone can watch now and be learning something about it. It was really just like a, at the moment, activism type
kind of like a news report.
Yeah.
They're doing the,
pretty much, yeah.
doing
I mean,
the news that they weren't doing, yeah.
Exactly. We went to the protest. We were starting to interview people on the road. If you saw, you know, footage of Abdullah Hashim there with us in the protest and all that. So we're just trying to get the word out.
So, I mean, I think it's effective. I mean, I find it heartening. I imagine you find it heartening as well. The awareness that's growing regarding, you know, the Israeli, you know, state of Israel, the terrorist state, which people will just openly say now. You know, 10 years ago, nobody would say that. I mean, very few people would say that, like in the West, okay? And now you're seeing this, you know, fairly common. You know, any thoughts on that?
Well, there's obviously a shift in consciousness of the people. I'm not going to be all new age on you and be like, you know, the universe is speaking to us. But, no, there is the word of mouth is helping so much, and, like, the internet is helping so much. I mean, the other day we were watching a video by Jay Rockefeller, and he's there talking in a news conference to not a news conference, in, like, the Supreme Court or something, I forget where, and he's just telling people how big of a mistake it was to create the internet, and how they've created a monster.
Oh, right.
And he gave really dumb reasons as to why the internet's dangerous, but we all knew what was that about, you know. And me and everyone else, these truthers out there, we're just feeling the close victory dance, like we got Rockefeller on TV telling the world that he's really angry that the internet's out there, because you know what? It's bound to come back and hit them. I mean, they started in the beginning as a way of surveillance, as a way of keeping people in check and keeping people on the web, and look what's happened. So, you know, they plot and they plot, but...
Yep. Allah will just take their plan and roll it all up and make it all part of His. I'm so seeing that right now with everything that's happening. I'm just seeing their demise is right around the corner. I almost feel sorry for these guys. I swear I do. But yeah, I mean, sympathy's definitely growing for the Palestinian cause. I mean, even I saw I can't recall the name of the it was like a little documentary done by an Israeli, and apparently it was shown in Israel. It was a documentary done of all the checkpoints and, you know, the virtual hell that the Palestinians have to go through just to go from one village to the next village, standing out in the cold snow. And then it shows behind the scenes, you know, the soldiers just messing with them for nothing. I mean, they just make up any old rule. They say, oh, yeah, there's a curfew over there, and, you know, it's just funny to see it behind the scenes because they're trusting the camera guy because he's also from Israel. And so they kind of let down their guard with him. And they're like, you know, make me look good. You know, don't make me look bad here. And it's like, well, the guy's like, well, that's going to be hard to do, but I'll try. You know, and then for, you know, to get, and then apparently the movie got, you know, was critically acclaimed there in Israel. And you know, it shows that the people... That's why I say, I mean, their demise is right out on the corner because, as you guys point out, you know, in the Arrival series and so forth, it's just a small handful of guys running the show, and they absolutely depend on us to feed them. You know, we're their power source, absolutely their power source. And as we wake up, that shift in consciousness, I will get new agey. There's a shift of consciousness, and we're waking up and we're unplugging from the system. And they're a little house of cards, you know. It's you know, it's got to fall, I would say. I don't know. So.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely on point. And that's the case. I mean, in terms of Israel, there is perhaps less than 1% of the entire globe's population who thinks that their existence is even justified or that what they're doing is just. Even a lot of the Jews recognize, you know, Jews living outside Israel, obviously. Recognize that there's no justification for anything that's happening in the actual books, which is in the actual Torah. But they take the justification from the Talmud, from the protocols of the elders of Zion and whatnot.
All right, so what direction are you guys headed to now with the Wake Up Project? I remember reading on Noriega's YouTube channel that apparently Phase 3 is going to be his last film collaboration. So what's that all about?
Well, with Noriega, I think when he writes that, he means I think it'll be his last online film / series, which is like this, this whole movement thing on his part. I mean, I'm sure he's going to keep uploading videos every now and then, but I think after that he's expecting a lot more from the Wake Up Project users, which a lot of them are doing excellent stuff. Members like Bushwhack and Purpose Films and Agreeable Views and Abdullah Hashim and Solace Thing. There's a lot of characters out there who are making their own series, and they're really getting out there to people. So I think for the time being, we have like around 3 or 4 projects underway. The problem being that we're working on them all at the same time, so that's why it's taken a while for all of them to come out. I worked on them one by one. You guys will be getting them gradually. But when those are done, I think he's going to want to take a break off of that. I'll still be on there doing my thing, probably taking care of the website a bit more. In the future, I mean, once we're done with these projects, we do have a lot of stuff up our sleeve, but there's other things that we have to start going into.
What kind of things up your sleeve? Any hints? Hint?
Yeah. Do you want to know?
Is it top secret?
I can't get into that.
Oh, okay, top secret. All right.
Okay.
Not quite.
All right, well, we're looking forward to it. So, for most of us who've spent a lot of time studying and researching all the various conspiracy theories out there, you really helped to make a lot of sense of everything with the Arrivals, just by trying to connect the puzzle, and made it all really believable and convincing. So, are you planning to address any new issues of this sort with your future projects, or will we be taking on a different approach altogether? For example, what's Phase 3 all about? And for those of us who've already seen The Arrivals, is there an incentive for us to watch the series?
Phase 3, at least its intro, which is the first 5 episodes, the 5th one was released today, was more of an introduction, and is more of a film about reflection than it is one about shocking information. It's a film that is connecting already with a lot of people who didn't watch The Arrivals to begin with, and some of The Arrivals fans, it's giving them a little bit more perspective on the matter. The second section of Phase 3, which starts after today, after the intro, basically, will start delving into information, but it is a more focused film. It's pretty much based entirely on Sheikh Imran Hossein's works, his speeches and his books. So it's taken a perspective from his perspective and trying to put it into play visually and trying to see how it plays into the real world. Because these are basically speeches he's doing to an audience, and we're trying to, integrate it with live footage, with live things that are happening in this world.
Yeah.
Other than that, there is obviously, a lot of reason for Arrivals fans to be watching this series, but I do expect Arrivals fans to probably appreciate the Arrivals more than Phase 3, just because of what it had to do with them and their awakening. Phase 3 is like a softer awakening for people who really weren't quite delving into the Arrivals enough. To me, I see Phase 3 as the movie I'm going to show friends of mine who never even wanted to see the Arrivals to begin with. And I'll be like, all right, try this one on. This is probably softer to begin with, and maybe this will lead you to something like the Arrivals.
Because I was sensing, it seemed like it was clearly inspired by, Sheikh Hussein's work, and so I was sensing almost that it's like a deeper, I don't know, perspective.
Yeah, it's a more mature film. It's more professionally made. It's definitely deeper. Definitely more of like a meditation on the age that we live in, rather than like, this is what's going on, this is what you should do.
Right.
It's more, it tries to get the viewer involved, to think about himself, to think what he's doing in his life, how is he going to change, what's the best thing to do, type of thing.
Yeah, because like...
So it's a more mature film.
Yeah, so like The Arrivals, it's it touches on some of the superficialities of life, to shock, like you say, sort of shock you awake. And now after you're awake, now you need to rebuild yourself, because it's kind of like a deconstruction of yourself, and now it's time to rebuild. And so I don't know.
Very glad you thought that way. That was the intent.
Okay, good. So yeah, because I'm sort of, I just saw the 5th part right before we started the interview. I saw you just uploaded it today, and I'm really inspired by where I see it going, because it's what I'm always